Remember what it was like to be a kid? To explore and play. To roam free all day. In Jamestown, North Carolina, we get out of the grind and escape into the moment. People feel good here. Let loose here. Eat well here. Feel swell here. We go for a ride or an afternoon stroll. We cheer each other on. And go for the goal. Here, a treasured history meets the energy of a town on the rise. In a place with true heart and soul, and where we have our own special beat. Jamestown, North Carolina, where history and possibility meet.
I call the planning board meeting to order. Katie, please call the roll.
Sherry Richmond.
Here.
Donald Dell is absent. Darlene Fetty.
Here.
John Capes.
Here.
Hope Ing.
Present.
Robert Garland.
Here.
Eddie Oakley.
Here.
Brant Gomez is absent. Peggy Levi.
Here.
Robert Kuhn is absent. Susan Stringer.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 13th regular planning board meeting. Planning board meeting members, make a second motion, please.
Actually,
We'll make the first one.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Jose Colon, please come forward.
Good evening, board members. I'm here to present the staff report for rezoning case 2026-01, which involves a rezoning for the property located at 4909 Guilford College Road from agriculture to conditional zoning, single-family residential. All right, the property is approximately 2.18 acres. Again, the proposed rezoning is conditional zoning, single-family residential, CCSFR. The current zoning is agriculture. The reason being, Harvest Church wants to purchase the property and use it for accessory uses. Currently, in our ordinance, in the agricultural zoning district, it does not allow churches. So this is the reason for this rezoning. Here is a property overview aerial of the property. As you see, Harvest Church, I believe 4915 Guilford College Road sits south of the site, so this is contiguous to the property. Battery's getting low. This is a street view of the property just north of the driveway of the property, and then an overview just south of the driveway of the property. Just a couple of current facts for the property. It is used residentially right now. It is the Wiley House, which it has a historic designation. It is bordered by single-family residential to the north. To the south, it is Zone Civic, which is the church. East and west is single-family residential as well. As far as open space and tree conservation area requirements, for open space, it would be 1/10 of an acre, and for tree conservation, it would be approximately .065 acres. It has only one access, which is Guilford College Road. It's a public road, NCDOT maintained. And just some historic facts, it does contain the Wiley House. It is a local landmark. However, Guilford County Historic Preservation back in 2022 recommended approval of the de-designation. That de-designation is a rubber stamp required by council. So it is part of the condition number 2 that would have to come back to council for official de-designation by the town. All right, so the proposed zoning, again, it is conditional zoning, single-family residential. The single-family residential district, SFR, provides for the completion of existing residential neighborhoods and the development of new residential neighborhoods in a pattern that encourages the wise use of land. Allowed building and lot types in the single-family district are detached house and civic building. Permitted uses are restricted to single-family homes and their accessory uses, and a limited number of related uses that serve residential neighborhoods and civic uses, which does include a church. Neighborhoods in this district are dominant land use in Jamestown and are a major element of the defining character of the community. All right. It is a conditional zoning request, and it does have 3 conditions. Number 1, uses are limited to churches, church-related accessory uses, and single-family residence and related residential accessory uses. Again, number 2, a request for historic de-designation must be approved by town council separately. And number 3, existing vegetations and buffers adjacent to the single-family subdivision to the east shall be maintained according to the concept plan. What you see right here is the concept plan. So here is the church, so north is this way. And here is the subject property that's in discussion right now. And this is just a concept plan showing where the proposed parking would be. Just as a reminder, this would go through a technical review committee, a review with engineers set of plans to ensure it meets all of our standards. But this is just a concept plan that we required for the rezoning process. All right, let's talk about the comprehensive plan. So the future land use is suburban residential. The suburban residential land use classification is the most prevalent of future land use classification applied on the future land use map, encompassing the majority of planned residential neighborhoods in the community outside of the town's traditional core area. Although primarily developed in larger single-family residential subdivisions, this land use classification is also intended to accommodate lower intensity attached residential development in the same context, along with low intensity civic uses such as churches. Where undeveloped land is included in this classification, it is intended to be developed in a manner similar to adjacent suburban residential development. As far as guiding principles, it does align with guiding principle number 1. Jamestown will actively facilitate high-quality growth that is both compatible with the town's traditional development pattern and innovative in how it meets the needs of our diverse and dynamic community. Ensure infill development is compatible with its surrounding, both from use and aesthetic perspective. So the decision before the board, it's CZ SFR, an appropriate zoning district to apply in this situation. And number 2, is the request consistent with the comprehensive plan? Staff and the technical review committee have reviewed the request and the proposed zoning conditions and the concept plan and feel the request is consistent with the envisioned Jamestown comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for staff before we bring the applicant over?
I'm reading this from Harvest Church, and potential uses could be a vacation Bible school or youth activities and games, pavilion and fellowship space. That doesn't seem to go along with a neighborhood.
So it is an accessory use of a church.
It's an accessory use of the church, but
Correct.
it does not seem to go along with developed similar to adjacent neighborhood that was stated a while ago.
So the single-family structure is staying, so
Yes.
so all they're adding is additional parking.
But that would be before the house? So would it be adjacent to any other neighbors?
It's next to the concept plan, so it would be along the street.
Along where?
Right there in the concept plan, it should be in your packet, so here would be the parking right here, and again, the buffer is remaining. They are keeping the buffer that is existing currently.
So the vegetation would come down?
The condition is they would keep the vegetation that's currently
Because how
there.
can you build a parking lot without taking down vegetation?
So it's right next to it. So there is a tree line right there. But the applicant can explain a little bit more about their concept plan. So this is just a concept plan. It's not what's coming to the town for review specifically.
Right now, we're at a point of ideas as opposed to there's a concrete plan in place
Correct.
saying this is exactly what's going to
Correct.
happen, correct? One other question I have about the historic house. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I don't know as much about this house. So Guilford County decided to say that this should be classified or
De-designated, correct?
de-designated. But it has not gone through anybody in Jamestown at this point?
Correct, right.
Okay, so what bearing does that hold relative to all of this planning? Meaning, what if the town council and the Historic Jamestown Society say, well, wait a minute, that's not how we feel about this?
Right. So I just want to clarify, Historic Jamestown Society is not a historic preservation board, so they do not have a
Okay,
final
good
decision
call
on
out.
that.
Thank you for that.
However, this just focuses on the land use aspect.
Okay.
That's why we want to separate the process.
Okay.
So they can go before town council to officially put a final stamp of approval on the designation. So this rests solely on the use and whether this is consistent with our comprehensive.
Got it, got it. The only other caveat to that, and forgive me for belaboring it, but if they decided against what Guilford County had recommended, does that change anything?
That does not change the rezoning, so it would still be, single-family residential.
All right.
And they would just have
That's
to
where I was going.
go along with the guidelines of the historic district and the historic
Understood.
preservation.
Thank you.
Yes.
In the temporary guest housing and visitors from missionaries, et cetera, would these be groups rather than coming in to stay? So that wouldn't be single family.
I wouldn't know the details, but the pastor can explain a little bit more about the proposed use.
And also, I noted that the town water and sewer is not available on the slot. So what is the accommodation for water and for anybody housing there?
Gotcha. The owner, you can talk a little, yeah. Gotcha. The owner can talk a little bit more about utilities as well. Yep. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Sir?
All right, I am going to call the applicant forward to talk about the request.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I was just thinking about it the other day, we've been here 21 years, and it happened just like that. So we're glad to be a part of this community. Matter of fact, my wife and I live in Whittington, housing development over there. And just, I guess, some fun facts tonight. My daughter, we're getting ready to go fly out, and she's getting ready to graduate, and she likes Jamestown so much, she already got her apartment here. She's moving back home. So they're just little things. We're glad to be a part of this community. Thank you all for considering our request tonight. Would you like me to? You had some questions?
I had some earlier questions.
ma'am.
Because I still don't understand why you would have outdoor youth activities and games. That would be a lot of noise for the neighborhood.
These aren't ongoing. It's just
On the paper.
event-based. It's not something we're building. It's just something that they might have games one afternoon for a vacation Bible school, a week in the summer.
It says potential uses may include. I have to just read what's on the paper.
Yes, ma'am. That may, it may not.
Would be very noisy.
But it's not going to be current, and it's not going to be repetitive. It's going to be
It
as,
doesn't say that in here, though.
I'm sorry, I went ahead and made that just so you know in good faith. What we're doing is in alignment with what any church would do in a neighborhood. So I gave you these things as may possibilities, so.
Well, we have some complaints in another neighborhood that someone's called me about because a church has some activities, and it's very noisy for the residential area around it. So that's why I'm focused on that.
Yeah, it's okay, because if that's something that, you're not comfortable with, we're okay to use the land that we have on the other side. I was just saying as a possibility. We have different events. So I'm happy to answer any other questions if these are just possibilities and may, just to let you know we're doing things in alignment with what a church would do in a community.
Go ahead.
the only one with questions.
No, you're not, but go ahead.
I usually am, I'm sorry.
You're good, Sherry.
Okay, good. We only have one, where was it? One guiding principle, but there are other guiding principles, and one of them involves vegetation, as we are calling it. But if there are mature trees, that's certainly a consideration from the comp plan, and I don't see that spelled out with vegetation.
When we presented that with our, before tonight, we reassured that we're going to definitely keep a buffer in between us and the neighborhood. So whatever's there, it would not be taken down. If anything, it would be beefed up or improved.
What kind of ideas do you have in regards to if you were to, bolster the buffer, for lack of a better way of putting it? Are you thinking about additional trees or something?
If you can sort of see how we've done our church
Right,
properly befitting, it would be it'd be landscaped.
sure. Okay, that's fair. And, I mean, to be fair, it's not like we can penalize one church for the activities of another, nor are we trying to. It'd be like penalizing one developer for the actions of another developer. That would be ludicrous. But one of the things that we have to keep in mind is just the activities that are going on relative to the adjoining neighborhood and trying to understand how this would impact them and what that looks like. Have you had discussions with that neighborhood and discussed like any of that? Or have you been approached at all?
No, this is all just evolving. I'm happy
Right.
to answer any
That's
questions
fair.
of concern.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're open and available and there can be
Oh, absolutely.
discourse. I mean, the key here is that there is some type of bidirectional channel so people can be able to have those discussions.
Sure, and I'll be happy to walk the land and discuss anything. Yeah, if anybody has any question.
What are you thinking in terms of parking? Now, obviously, that's already come up, and there's a picture of where parking is going to go. What type of, how many spaces are you looking at? What are your thoughts there?
Right now, it's just a possibility. I would have to see what the requirements were for how much space we have per what we could get there.
Sure.
But that's something that I just wanted to give as a possibility as we continue to grow.
Right.
And we'll follow the regulations, whatever might fit
course.
there.
Of course. Okay.
But again, what you see is sort of how we develop, so it's going to be very well landscaped.
Is that new parking, is that going to be for the home's use itself, the activity center use or whatever you want to call it? Or is that also geared towards parking for the church itself?
I think it would be dual purpose for any type of occasion for parking. They'd have access to it.
I do have a question as it relates to future use. That's my concern, right? Because it's hard to walk that back once this is approved. So future use, what does that look like? Is it a possibility that you guys may reconfigure, reconstruct, build something in the parking lot in the future? Is that a condition? Like, what are you thinking in terms of future use based off of the growth that, you're still unsure about? What could that look like?
I put several different possibilities here, but it's really the most valuable thing about this property is the land itself. And just so that we can keep things in consistency with how we've built, we envision having use of that land just to help facilitate not just parking, but also we need to go ahead and make sure that we can properly use the other facilities, the house. I think, ma'am, you asked if we would have a missionary group. It would be more, part of what we do, which might help, is my wife and I, we oversee ministers in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And there sometimes missionaries can't afford a break or a vacation, and we'd like to be able to bring maybe their family in for a break, as well as other ministers that we find are hurting financially right now. So really right now, I just have a vision to keep things the way is, until we see what our future needs would be, which certainly would be submitted to you all.
Well, if it's single-family homes, are the people going to be accommodated in a normal single-family home? How many bedrooms are there? How many people are you talking about? at the time?
The house right there, you might help me, Glenn.
Yeah, the house has, technically it's 4 bedrooms, but the way we have it configured is 3 bedrooms in the house, and the house is the same configuration. It's always been, there's no walls or anything.
And then the two other buildings, one is like a workhouse for maintenance, and I wrote that down here because every church needs storage. So really, it's just for storage and also for maintenance items.
Okay, so for group size that you would be accommodating in the house, you're saying like maybe a dozen or less?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't know of any family that would be that large. So it would be just a family or ministry
An
couple.
individual family?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
When you have recovery groups and small groups,
Yes.
is that recovery group, is that like a AA, NA, or because a 3-bedroom house won't hold a NA or an AA group?
No. We have.
You have it's open to whoever and however many will come.
Right. No, it's sort of closed. We call them harvest groups, small groups that minister to those who just need a little bit of guidance and accountability.
Your
So they're-
membership,
Beg pardon?
you limit it to your own church membership
Right now, yes, sir.
or out right now?
We don't plan
But-
on advertising that as far as something to be a part of AA or anything like that right now. It's just people that have similar challenges in their background, they've overcome, and they can learn together and grow together and stay accountable. Yeah, so this is not a live-in situation.
Okay,
It
those
might-
would be meeting groups, or they're staying at the house?
No, these are just, they meet maybe once a month, twice a month, possibly weekly. There's several different things that we want to use the house for, such as places where people can come in and have multiple groups at the same time, but then they go out. We do, being that we oversee a lot of ministries, sometimes we envision an executive team coming so that our staff can help uptrain them. But certainly that's a few-day deal. Just enhancing our ability to help folks both in the community and also in our region.
So you've mentioned a few times not current needs, things along those lines. When you're looking towards the future, kind of what are your plans for the overall property? So you've talked about adding a small parking lot, keeping the house as is, but you've also mentioned potential future uses and keeping us updated on that.
Sure.
Have you put any thought into what that looks like, the time frame on that? Have you determined, based off of the ministry's growth itself over a certain number of years, you're projecting X amount of growth over the next certain amount of years? Can you expand a little bit more on those comments?
Sure. Right now, if you'll see where the church is built to the right, right now we have brought to Jamestown an expansion, sort of like a gymnatorium, where we focus on our youth and community, and that's going to have some classrooms, and that's going to be done in being approved. Will be done. It's in the planning right now. So that building would just be behind there, and I don't know, Jose, if you could speak to that, or just anyway, we're planning that right now as far as to facilitate sort of what we have and able to really invest and mentor our next generation. And so that's something we have planning right now. Future beyond that, we have acreage on the other side, right by the highway. And so right now, we're probably going to expand some parking back there right now, and not even really use that land right now until we can see what the best use would be in the future. I just gave you possibilities, and we may do these things, but it certainly will go through the approval process.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did I answer your question, sir?
It's close enough, I guess.
Okay.
How often would you have people in the house? I mean, are there going to be different people coming every day?
You know, I don't know. We might have some offices in there so that we can, you know, have people that oversee our volunteers that might use it more often. All the other things are sort of on a need base. So I can't see right now 100% utilization every day.
Okay, so there's going to be a lot of different types of uses for the home.
It's just to support the ministry in different capacities that we right now we're doing renovations in our facilities, and in order to be able to facilitate our growth with our 5th and 6th graders, we had to take a couple offices. So we have them all, the staff is all combined. We have multiple staff in place, but we might need that for an officer or two in the future.
You'd be using schooling the students there as well?
I'm sorry?
Schooling the students as well?
I'm not sure about schooling the students. I don't envision having classes over there for young children. That's all handled over to the other side.
Okay.
Yes, in the main.
And what is the water and sewer situation for the house?
For the house?
It says that there is no town water or sewer available, so what is the situation?
The water for the house is public, it's a well, but the sewage is public sewage, so there is sewage for the house.
Oh.
And there's sewage
No,
for,
it's a well for water.
and the sewage is,
There is sewage?
yes,
Okay.
there is. Yes, ma'am?
I still don't see things nailed down very well for your usage. You're saying not now or foreseeable future. There seem to be a lot of vagaries as to what is going to be happening to that property in the house. And that's a little disconcerting to me that that whatever comes up in the future might change, and it would affect the residents around there who, we have to look out for them too.
Yes, ma'am,
And on
certainly
the two accessory buildings, some of the listings, cones, tents, signage, games, it sounds as though there's going to be a lot of activities in that space that might bother the neighbors.
It's seasonal use, and the land that we're using right now for all events is on the other side behind the gas station over that way. You know, I just gave some church normal uses so that if, not sure that we'd have to, we would come and before we did something, we'd certainly present it to you and to make sure it fit the community. But as far as nailing down every specific thing that we're going to guarantee do, I really can't do that right now because I don't know.
To be fair, just to bring this back full circle, the main thing we're looking at is a rezoning piece of this. The planning and everything else has to go with it. I'm assuming would still have to go through an approval process itself, correct? Correct. Okay. So, I mean, I guess to your, Sherry, to your point, if everything's not nailed down at this point, it's because they're not at that phase. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be approved. It still has to go through an approval process. All we're looking at is whether or not we approve the rezoning so that they can move forward to that step.
Well, that's what I'm wondering what the step is,
Is that?
what some of it, because I'm seeing things here that I didn't see in my
Yeah, this is
packet.
just the first step for the process, so just to rezone the property so the church can even use the property. But any let's say temporary structures, will it be a tent or a temporary event? Those are usually approved by our planning department, so we have a permit process for that. The parking lot, any permanent structures, those are also reviewed by our technical review committee, so to ensure that it meets our guidelines. So there are steps in the process afterwards.
And those would
This is the
come back
first step.
through us at that point, correct? Would they come back through the planning board at that point, or would it go to
No.
just here?
Not necessarily, no,
No.
no.
Okay.
No,
All
they
right.
wouldn't. And the neighbors wouldn't have as much of a voice, I guess. They wouldn't know it until it happens,
May I ask something?
right?
We have Jamestown Methodist. It backs up to a neighborhood, and we have activities there all the time, Vacation Bible School, the whole bit. They're out there playing. My daughter runs a preschool there. And we've been here since, what, 95? And so all of these are used, and your point is taken as far as noise and things like that. We don't know, because it's not there all the time. The church is underutilized anyway. Most of our churches now are. Churches are failing. I mean, Jamestown Baptist is just about gone. Thank goodness we have, other ministers stepping in. But my question to you is this, before you put the cart, before the horse, did y'all in any way, being a good neighbor, did you invite all of your neighbors to come and meet with you to ask and let them know this is what we would like to do and, address any concerns that they might have?
I didn't, honestly, that's totally on me. Because everything is speculative right now, even to consider what we would do, it has to be rezoned, otherwise we can't use it, we can't buy it. So, but I did not, and I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah,
I know it's after the fact now, but I'm happy to do that.
yeah, to Susan's point, I mean, that's, church is definitely a critical part to any community. And having neighbors so close, I think that even if you don't have a concrete idea of what it is that you're trying to do, inviting your neighbors in to say, hey, what would you like us to do for your community is, I think, a misstep by not doing that on your
Yeah.
part. Because, I mean, what better voice than to get opinions from and try and get a little more concrete idea of what should happen with your
You're right.
church than to get it from the local community that hopefully you're serving.
Yeah, I apologize. I really didn't know to do that because it was the possibility rather than, what we were going to for sure plan.
Sure.
This sheet that was passed around by someone, I guess, who lives nearby, is talking about standing water and the church being responsible for it, question mark. I mean, I don't know how true this is. It's just someone else's viewpoint or whatever. So I don't know if you're aware of that, and I think it is a misstep not to talk to your neighbors, especially if you're causing standing water and a French drain having to be built and some other problems. I think the church, being a church especially, should be concerned about other people.
Those comments were passed around.
Yeah, they're passed
That
around.
they'll be
That's what I wanted to
under
know.
public comment.
Okay, I didn't know, okay.
When we first purchased the property, we purchased it from another pastor, and everything had been properly engineered and everything and executed and approved for occupancy. We were approached by a neighbor, and honestly, I did not know because we were sort of inheriting what had been built. So when we took the property and began to have certain needs, and being in a financial position, when we did end up permitting for additional parking, Jose, I don't know if this thing's gonna work, but how to do this? So we were permitted to put extra parking back there. We finally got to a position, cash flow, to where we weren't just going to put parking back there, but we spent probably $40,000 more to regrade everything so that you can just go ahead and go on. We spent $115,000 to regrade to where, if you can pull back just one, if that's standing up on the very back part of the property, you can see to the left where the grading goes down, then we built up the land and engineered it in such a way that, if you'll go to the next slide, it's a V there now. And the water goes down to the retention pond, and then you'll go, and there's another pathway right there for the water that actually it goes right to that space where there's a section out of the island right there, and that's where the water flows, and it goes straight down there to our catch basins and directly into our water pond. And it's, you know, we spent a whole lot more there to be a good neighbor. I really didn't know we had an issue or a problem. We hadn't talked to anybody for about 15 years until this property came. And then there are two people that reached out to me, and I wanted to reach out. Well, I did talk with one of them that had the lowest lying land back there in the neighborhood. And I said, I'd be happy to walk this process. She said, well, my water issue is not from you, it's from my neighbor. I just wonder what you're going to do in the future, if that's going to impact me. The reason why I didn't get with the other person was because I wanted to make sure I had everything clear and everything documented and everything, realizing how much that the church did spend to resolve issues that we didn't originally create.
Have you considered gravel?
For what?
Parking lot?
For behind the, right now, we're possibly going to be doing that behind the gas station for potential parking. So then again, I'm not sure, again, all things being equal, because for this rezoning, for this to go through, it has to be rezoned. And then we have to see, and Jose, maybe you can help me on that, when it's rezoned, I mean, we could put gravel back there. That's a
Well,
possibility.
the only reason I ask that is that our church, as it grew, we did gravel because, and also it's a permeable surface, so all the water and everything can run through it. And parking lots are expensive.
Yeah.
And, you know, with curb and gutter and the whole bit and everything, so that's why I wondered if maybe you had even considered the possibility. Do you have a building committee on your church?
Yes.
Okay.
We do. We just don't know the possibility of what we have before it's rezoned to even know if we can use it.
Can you tell me how deep the barrier is now that you're planning in between the property and the existing homes?
How deep the property is?
No, the barrier, the
width.
berm around that you were talking about, the shrubberies, et cetera. How high is the berm or whatever you have?
You might want to explain that, Glenn.
Currently, right now, on the backyard part of the home and the land, it's kind of been left to grow wild. So there's a natural barrier caused by the brush. So in some areas, it's probably 6 to 7 feet out, and then height-wise, it's quite tall because it's just been for so long. It's quite it's very, you know, in the winter times, the only time you can see through it because the leaves are down. Other than that, it's solid. You can't see through it. Where the old barn is back there, that was when we bought the land. That was approved to be torn down. That area has a lot of vegetation back there as well. But also, as you come down towards I'm going to say the shop buildings or the metal garages right there, that we allowed that to grow as a hedge over there. So instead, right now in the summertime, it's solid, but in the wintertime, you know, when leaves come down, it's about 7 feet out, and height-wise, you know, maybe it's 25, 30 feet. It's quite overgrown on the side there.
Okay, so it's just brambles and weeds?
Well, it's turned into more of a, it's not nothing than plant, it's turned into just, you know, a scrub, type of trees, what do you call them? Not necessarily weeds, but they're.
Volunteers.
Did you say you were going to landscape that?
I said that we would maintain what's there, if not improve it through landscaping. Just again, depending on if we get this land or not. There is some things on the backside of the property that, working with the neighbors, there's a fence that's coming down and different things like that. So want to make sure that anything we do, we're going to definitely enhance it.
You said you were going to leave the vegetation,
Yes, ma'am.
and then you said you were going to landscape it, so,
Improve it. There's some areas that we would like to add some tree lines that, if you can see between our property and the backside, we planted trees and they've just grown and given privacy and added
added
a
privacy.
tree look rather than a brush look.
Added privacy, then, that would be
Yes.
your main.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Go
you
ahead.
done?
No, please.
Okay, thank you for speaking.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to open the floor for public hearing to anybody that wants to speak about this rezoning request. Please state your name, come up to the front, state your name. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Deborah Marlowe, and my husband and I, Mike, have lived at 4905 Acacia Court, whereas directly across from there, and we've lived there 43 years. This is a cul-de-sac that's a very private cul-de-sac. Everybody that lives there stays there till they get so old they can't live in their house or they die. It is a gem. We have loved it. We moved there when Mrs. White was in that house. It was always a historical house, and that's one of the things that attracted me. The rest of that, including where the church is, was horse pasture. The problem, and I'm jumping into this, is I'm concerned about the disturbance they do to that land, and it's backing right up to my neighbors' yards. And we're dealing with increased noise traffic. If they take down those front trees, we've got Guilford College traffic. We will also have additional parking noise. We will have, if they remove any of the shrubs and trees, I hear they're not going to today, but we're still talking about headlights shining in if they put up parking lot and parking lights. So now we've got other noise that we didn't have. You're talking about the back corner, parking lot would be 21 feet from a homeowner's well. Okay, at the other end, if they do it, it's 74 feet from a homeowner's well. These are not general concerns. They're direct impacts on the families living beside the property. My concern is that property slopes up from us. It is over 5 feet higher than we are. If it starts flooding like the other back parking lot, we are going to have a pond in the middle of our cul-de-sac. The back parking lot, the east corner, is over 5 feet. They built that up. That 5 feet runs off into my neighbor's yard. I invite everybody to come and see her pool tomorrow because her yard will be flooded. 1/10 of an inch of rain floods her yard because of that parking lot. We had to put in a French drain to keep the water going across my neighbor's yard to our yard to trap the water that was constantly going in our yard. My other neighbor in the middle between me and Miss Holliday, their driveway's being washed away from the runoff of that parking lot, and it currently is there today. I am dealing with soil erosion, dealing with Guilford County to see what we could do about this. I'm going to stop it because I don't want the same thing to happen in front of me because it's going to come across. That's my big concern is the flooding that's going to happen to those homes. Even in that one parking lot, it's all higher than we are. So yes, they have trees, but if they put a parking lot in, the number of gallons of water that runs off of that won't be stopped by the trees and vegetations that there. And so that's what my big concern is. My husband, when we first had the flooding, went to the church, invited them to come and look when it was raining. either the pastor's father or father-in-law did come, he immediately saw the flooding and the sheets of rain coming down our road. He at that time stated that they would take care of the runoff water.
Thank you, thank you.
It was never done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Next, please state your name and adhere to the 3 minutes, please.
Donna Steed, do you need my address?
No, ma'am.
No, no.
Okay. I was the person that spoke with the pastor last Tuesday. I called him. Well, I sent him an email, and then he said, "You're welcome to call me." So I called him. And I said, "What are your intentions on this property that you're wanting to buy and have rezoned?" He said, "Build a parking lot." I said, "Okay." And then he said he was going to keep the house. There was 2 buildings. He was going to keep both the buildings, use one for storage, use one for storage for yard equipment, one for storage for other stuff. And then he turned right around and said, "Well, we're going to tear that barn building down because it's unsafe." And then I hear him talking tonight is everything is vague and it's nothing is concrete. But my property, mine and my husband's property, is the lowest line property around there. So when it rains, all rain comes to our property. Because once they built up Grandover Parkway, they had to put 2 huge storm grates in my yard that measure 31 by 40. One on this side of the yard and one on this side of the yard to take away all of the rainwater. And then through the years, we have done very expensive landscaping to keep water that runs from the other properties, to keep it away from our house and to direct it towards the drains. And I asked him, I did tell him that right now I didn't think the water runoff from his property was affecting mine. But if he built a parking lot, that may affect more water coming onto my property, and it would come directly to my well, because that's where our well is. Well, I don't want my well contaminated, and I don't want city water from Greensboro, which, I mean, they don't even offer that now. But, and I'm not against a church, because I attend a church, and I'm not against the Lord. I'm against what's going on up here because they only worship at that building. They don't live in the building. We live in our homes. We have a large investment in those properties, and we want to keep them safe for us. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, who's next? Come on up. Please state your name and adhere to the 3 minutes.
Joseph Kelly, and I live at 4908 Acacia Court, which is the chop house of the close. My concern is, the building, or the proposed building, is going to take, along my property line, 360 feet. My well is 21 feet away from where they proposed to build. I have a copy here that you can't build within 20, my well is 21 feet. You can't build within 100 feet of a drinking water. And it's right there. I can send it to anybody who wants to read it. My concern is, I have been in that house for 40 years. I've seen changes come and go, and I'm okay with change. I have no problem with change. I understand. But what has happened since that church has been put there, and let's understand, it's not a communal church. Sheriff's Department has got to sit outside and let the vehicles out because there's that many vehicles. And they're not coming from the community, they're coming from all over. That is not a church, it's a business. I own a shop right next to a church in Thomasville. I've been there for 33 years. And the pastor of the church comes and talks to me on a daily basis. They are a community church. They have 50 or 60 community, not 3,000. There is 226 parking spaces right now. My concern is, right along my property line, my well is 21 feet from where they proposed. The barrier he's talking about is my barrier that we put up because of the noise, and we put it up because of the traffic on Business 85. If they propose to do this, they're going to be having lighting shining through my window. There's going to be all the noise from all the parking lot. Like I say, I've owned a business in Thomasville for 33 years, an auto repair shop. These modern vehicles nowadays use thinner oil than, am I done?
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
but they use thinner oil, and it's going to be all over the parking lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next? Please state your name and adhere to the 3 minutes, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Sarah Burns. I'm reading a statement prepared by our neighbor Kenneth Stafford, who is unable to be here tonight. My name is Kenneth Stafford. I'm an aircraft support engineer for over 30 years, and I reside at 4904 Acacia Court. The potential development of the 2.18 acre parcel that has been surveyed butts up against my property line and other residents in Acacia Court. In support of a parking lot for the adjacent church, I would like to oppose for the following reasons. To keep things simple, let's assume in the future they do decide to pave that entire lot and make it into a parking lot, which is one of our primary concerns as a neighborhood. This parcel being 2.1 acres, which is 94,000 square feet, approximately 1.65 football fields. Once paved, the ground can no longer absorb water. With an inch of rain at 0.623 gallons per square foot, it will produce 59,000 gallons of runoff at 8 pounds per gallon. That's about 473 pounds of water. Now divide that by 2,000 for a ton per single inch in the event, sorry, he's an engineer and I'm not, can you tell? Now divide that by 2,000 or 236 tons for a single inch event. This is why water is so powerful and destructive. That being said, my property is more than 5 feet below the current grade level of the parcel in question, as are all of the properties on Acacia Court. I'm sure my concerns are the same as all of us here, which is the potential damage to our properties from erosion, silt accumulation, flooding, and damage to our homes, and potential water intrusion from the high probability of well contamination over time from vehicle fluid leaks contaminated in the aforementioned runoff, causing significant health risks to our families and pets. In addition to the previous hazards mentioned, I can't remember anyone ever saying what a beautiful parking lot you'd live next to. That being said, between the unsightly look of a parking lot and the addition of new noise pollution from additional traffic in close proximity to our properties has a high potential for reduction in our property values. These are the reasons I'm opposed to the development to rezone the subject parcel in support of a proposed parking lot. If this rezoning is approved, the residents of Acacia Court need to be assured that proper and adequate drainage will be installed, as it was never installed in the previous development, diverting water away from Acacia Court with a clear and concise explanation of their workings to eliminate these hazards, not mitigate, eliminate, and would like to hear a plan on what will be put in place due to this parking lot, in addition to sustain the current property values.
Thank you so
for your time.
much. Next, who's next? Okay, please state your name and adhere to the 3 minutes, please.
Hi, my name is Daniel Burns. I live at 4903 Acacia Court. I was going to talk about a neighborhood and how cohesive we are, but I don't think I really need to. That's pretty evident. I don't see many people from the church. It's probably too far for them to drive. I wanted to talk a little bit, though. I grew up in the Evangelical Free Church. We had land we wanted to expand onto that we already owned, that was already zoned. And I think you touched on this, but as a kid, I walked around to the neighborhood and put notes on the door saying we're having a meeting. We wanted to make sure everybody knew what we were doing and was part of the neighborhood. This is the first time I've met Pastor Cohen. It's nice to meet you. So I understand, acknowledged, maybe they should have done that. It seems, myself growing up in a church, that was not something that would have had to been told to the pastor. So I don't feel like they are part of our community. I don't feel like they want to be part of our community. I don't know how much that weighs in actual zoning. As far as the vagueness about what the future use is, you do not buy property and try to grow your church to a stagnant level or a business or anything else. If you're buying property and you're a giant church like this is and has multiple locations, your intent is to keep growing. Whether you can or not, I know a lot of churches are struggling. This one is not. It kind of pains me to hear that you have pastors that can't afford a 3-hour drive to the beach. Maybe it's a funding allocation issue where you're spending more on parking lots than on the people that are serving you. But that's my concern here is we have a very cohesive neighborhood. We're some of the newer people. We've only been there 2 years. We're the second owner of that house. The son of that owner of that house is here too. That's how cohesive this neighborhood is. And this is not just a row of houses. This is our own community. We're not in Greensboro. We're not in Jamestown. We're not in High Point. We're Acacia Court. And I know all of these people. I know their kids. I know their grandkids. And like I said, I've been here just under 2 years. So this is the kind of community you're talking about who they didn't take any time to come and talk to us. So any talk about, maybe we'll have things occasionally. I'm sorry, I don't want to imply anything. I don't really believe that, whether it's intentional misleading or being intentionally naive. I don't think you're trying to grow a church a little bit and then just stay there. So I think that's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, please state your name.
Andrea
and
Fricky.
adhere to the 3 minutes.
They live in my mother-in-law's old house, as a matter of fact. And we live at the backside. We're behind the church, where I love church. I love my church. On Wednesdays, I can step outside and I can dance to their music. On Sundays, when we're leaving to go to church, I can dance to their music. So yes, I can hear everything. Luckily, I like the music. I very much like the music. But I do know that, yes, it will increase noise. It will increase the light. We have a fence up along that, a wooden fence along that side of our property. And the vegetation, they did leave some vegetation. It's about a 4-foot strip along the back of our fence. 6 foot, 7 foot, that's not enough for erosion or anything else, or noise or anything else, I don't think. But I don't get a warm fuzzy, I'm sorry, sir. I don't get a warm fuzzy because that's a dead-end street. We dead-ended to the horse farm that was there. My kids and I used to go out there, talk to the horses. When they built their church, I was happy to hear, didn't know it had been 21 years, but they thought they were going to build a school there. So they plowed through to my street, and my husband went and fought that one because they were going to use our street as a pass-through, not to live there, but to let all the people out all the time. And then wanted to know, well, what about if we just let them happen at 8 a.m. in the morning and 3 p.m. for school, in and out? Let them go through your neighborhood. It's like, no, it was a dead-end street. When we bought the house, we'd like to keep it a dead-end street. Now, that was no discussion. They just plowed through. That's when we got the landscape. That's the big trees that are now nice and big 21 years later. So I don't have a warm fuzzy, and this, where there's no plans, that scares me. So rezoning, where they can do whatever they want, that worries me. I love a church, but I need a church that's a neighbor and that wants to take care of my neighborhood too, and not just come in on Sunday mornings and Wednesday afternoons. So that just really worries me. So I need a concrete plan, and I need you to come talk to me, because I'm your backdoor neighbor. And my other backdoor neighbors, I'm good with. So, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Are you, I'm sorry, what?
I'm the owner of the land.
Yeah, come on.
Please.
Hi, my name is Glenn Livens. I'm the owner of the land. I appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate you neighbors. It's interesting, the idea of selling the property was not the church's idea. It was my idea. I am going to be selling that house. I'm going to be leaving. And whether my initial thought was the best stewards of that home would be the church. They've done a fantastic job of what they've had as far as water flow. I'm on the downside of it. I don't have a water flow issue, but I haven't been there that long either. I've been there since 2017. We've improved the land as best as we can. We've improved the house. When we got the house, it was, I know everyone talks about a historical house, but the reason why it came up to be about being de-designated, it was basically falling in on itself. And we got it to state that it was livable. And we got it to state that the vegetation didn't overtake everything. As far as that for the house, so it wouldn't damage the house anymore. We've had a great neighbor in the church. We've had great neighbors here too, so I don't, all I can say is that whatever's been done, where that parking lot is talked about, that is a grass lot right now. And where, if you walk the land and you see that, but the idea was that they were a great neighbor to have, and everything they've done has been beautiful. So it would preserve the house, and it would preserve what we have there. We do care about the house being preserved. If it's to be sold, it would be to somebody who actually would. Otherwise, it's a zoned agricultural, and you sell the house to whatever. Not many people are gonna put that kind of effort to take care of that house. That's my opinion. So, but they've been great neighbors to us, and I don't know all the other, but we haven't had any problems. But the church has been a great neighbor for us.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else want to speak? Okay. At this time, I'm going to open it up to the planning board for discussion.
I have a couple of thoughts. And I'm not making a motion, I'm just throwing this out for consideration. And it kind of goes against the way my brain works. I am, generally speaking, somebody who's in favor of progress and trying to help when there's initiative to do something. That said, the thing that stands out to me the most right now is a lack of communication between two parties, the church and the neighbors. Now, this has been said from both sides. Again, this is not a motion. I just want y'all to consider the possibility that we continue this for 1 month to give them an opportunity to circle up, and then we meet again to follow up on this and see what's said. If anything's changed, great. If not, we can move forward from there, because then it still has to go to the council. It's up to the town council to see where this really goes. All we do is we hear, we listen, we make decisions based on what's in front of us, and we go from there. But I don't feel comfortable making any kind of decision until I feel like there's at least been an effort made for better communication than what I've heard thus far. That's not a motion. I just put it out there on the table for y'all to consider. If you don't like it, I understand.
John, I think you make some good points.
Good for one.
It's good. It's good to have them every now and then. One of our responsibilities of this board is, especially when we're talking about rezoning, is the negative impacts it might have on the community around it. And I do agree that I think there's been a lack of communication between these two parties. And I think the one that's requesting, the church that's requesting the rezoning, I'm seeing a lack of vision overall and kind of what they see planning for this particular lot. So I would agree with continuance and let them kind of, I guess, hash this out and figure out what would be best for not only the church, but the community as a whole. Just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, not an elongated thing by any stretch, but I think realistically giving the equivalent of a month to at least say, okay, talk.
Yeah.
I would like to see firmer statements in writing about what they're going to do with the property, because not now, and as we said, just kind of vagaries about what's going to be happening in many situations with that property. They're going to keep the house, but what is the house used for? For now, I just don't like so many inconsistencies in responses that I've gotten. And the noise pollution, some things that would really bother the neighbors. We have to look out for the neighbors too. I wrote that down twice as people commenting on noise and pollution and lights and things like that. So I would like to see something firm in writing that's going to be happening, that would be protecting the neighborhood.
Okay, that's it? Anybody else wants to speak?
Do we need a motion to table this to the next meeting?
I'll make the motion, but I want to make sure y'all have had a
Yeah, I mean,
chance
if
to
you
talk
guys
about
want to speak and
it.
say
I don't want to
something,
pitch
this is the
anything
time.
that y'all aren't comfortable
Right.
with.
Yeah, I think that more talk obviously is needed to make sure that the detriment to the existing community that's been there for many
Right.
years.
We need to be respectful of that.
Yeah.
And we need to be respectful of the church. And it's not really our place to say you can or can't do specific things with a piece of property. For goodness sakes, that's not what we're trying to say. But for us to feel comfortable, and listen, the last time I voted for, made a motion for continuance was 8 years ago, okay? I'm not a huge fan of them. But I think in this case, it's pretty clear that there needs to be more bidirectional talking going on here, just so that everybody's either of an accord or you agree to disagree. But I don't feel that at this point. So I'm going to make a motion that we continue this to our next session, or then depend on what's decided as far as how that works calendar-wise.
To the June 8th Planning Board meeting at 6 PM in the council chambers without further advertisement.
On June 8th at 6 PM in the council chambers without further
Advertisement.
advertisement. Sorry.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay, great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good luck, folks. We want to do what's right. I mean, we're here for all of you. So please, talk.
All right, Katie, has anyone signed up for, to speak during the public comment?
Nobody signed up.
Okay. All right, Jose, please present.
I have no further updates, other than we have a planning board meeting on June 8th. We're here in this case. Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.